Hi guys, welcome back to the Fata Morgana playthrough. Now, today we're going to be seeing more context between Michel and Morgana. Oh my god, we've got so many interesting things to just look into. Firstly, yeah, I haven't really been able to read for quite a few days, so yeah, let's just get a bit of context. Let's go from here, why not? Yeah, where should we go from, actually? Yeah. I just find it very interesting how in Morgana's case, devotion and yearning are the things that obviously cause miracles. But at the same time, they have very human explanations as to how they had happened. Yeah. Yeah, but I just forgot, where was the first time they talked to each other? I just wanted to look at that. Oh, I see. But that is so weird to think about the fact that Morgana has literally seen into Michel's head. That's what I don't understand. Because he didn't say any of this out loud. So weird. Yeah. Why? It really does feel like there's more to this plot that meets the eye. Why can't Morgana leave the mansion's grounds? Yeah, I know. That's the thing. You could kill him, and yet at the same time, everything would become easier in your life. But he doesn't, because they are family, and I don't blame him whatsoever, because he's not a murderer like Morgana seems to want him to be. And it's interesting with Morgana, though. I kind of get the impression that she really doesn't understand what somebody like Michel would think, because obviously she's never had love and attachment that Michel has had. Because at least Michel had some positive memories, rather than Morgana just having none and having the most brutal story. Yeah. But, yeah, it's... Yeah, I totally agree. It is insane. So you just kind of want to question why something like this would not be completely unrealistic. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and isn't it interesting just how tempting Morgana is being, and how she really is just making it so that Michel only sees the good in this, and not the fact that he's going to murder his family if he does something like this. It's interesting that Morgana wants Michel so badly to put revenge on somebody, to curse somebody. I just really wonder why that is. I mean, maybe Morgana's banished here, so she wants somebody she can relate to more. But Isn't that a bit extreme? Ah, yes, yes, you're so good, aren't you? You're just asking and convincing somebody to kill their own family. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, it's just such a scary thought. Bit unrealistic, but okay. There is no way they haven't told people around them. Actually, I disagree with what I just said. They're a rich family. If somebody knew this, then that would be game over for their reputation. So that is actually reasonable. Yeah. And isn't it interesting to think about the fact that even though Michel's brothers, sure, they had exiled him to this place, but he could have been executed. And it's just interesting how he kind of blames all of his family, even these people, even though they haven't done it. And I think that just shows how unrealistically he's starting to think. Yeah, exactly. And you're remembering the good and remembering the possible hope. Yeah, they have abandoned you, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah, that is fair. Yeah, I totally forgot about the timescale, to be honest. I don't know, it's just in my head, it kind of... I would have thought that this event would have happened in the earlier parts and then Michel would have lived a changed man as a result of it for lots of years before he met Gazelle. But no, I completely forgot. Yeah, now I understand why he mentions them. Totally reasonable. Yeah, but it does make sense because I suppose he just has that connection, even though these people were... Well, he's still thinking unrealistically. Who gives him his supply? Well, his mother gives him supplies. Wait, no, is it the mother? No, it's the brothers who give him the supplies, so they clearly care about him in some way. But of course you don't think about that because you just exaggerate what's bad, I suppose, here. But it's reasonable that he does it, of course. Yeah, what kind of a family is it? Yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, bringing somebody pain only leads to more pain yourself as well. Yeah, and isn't that interesting? Yeah. I mean, I do see what Morgana's saying, because if he doesn't kill these people here, then his life is going to be like this for God knows how long, maybe until the day he dies. He doesn't know, but he just can't do it. And I really like how Morgana's portrayed here. My God, it really is quite something. Oh, that's it. Is it? No, it isn't. Don't know what happened there. I actually have no idea. Yes, true. Yeah, you could, but would you? That is really interesting. Yeah, that's fair. Will it kill you? Yeah, to be fair, it probably will. But are you going to find a good life otherwise? I mean, a lot of the servants are probably still going to be working there. If you're going to be ruling, and yet those servants are going to be there, that's not going to be very good, because they're going to treat you as somebody who is cursed. They're not going to want to follow your orders. It won't work. And it's sad, but it's true, if you ask me. I just can't believe how selfless he is. I mean, this person is such a nasty bully. She is just a bully. There is nothing else to her. Yeah. All your family could go crashing. Yeah. It's just surprising that the only reason Michel thinks concern for this family is just because it was... I suppose it was how he grew up and how he did have some positive memories. But also, I suppose he probably thinks that, let's say for example the mother has always loved Michel, but the only thing is she's not been able to accept him. And same for the brothers, I suppose. Will he even? Who knows? Yeah. It could be a bit of both. You've still done the right thing, let's be honest here. Well, it is if you listen to her. He's really at a point of crossroads. But isn't it interesting? That's basically saying having hatred is something I never should have had. Because Morgana's only there as a result of Michel's hatred. God. Really? Jesus. God. Yeah, you can really see how somebody like Morgana would make a person mad. I know, totally. Fair. Yeah, totally reasonable. God. It is, but is it better than being deranged? Says the person that didn't... Why is that the case if Michel didn't instantly accept Morgana's proposition? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Sure, he hates them, and obviously the family have taken away all of his opportunities in life, who wouldn't? But would he kill? Does he really hate them that much? There's a difference between hating them and wanting them dead. God. Why do you care so much? Seriously. I mean, what is it that you gain from this? Seriously. Oh my god, so Michel's bed before it was lit up and colourful. I was going to say, look at how Morgana is destroying Michel's sleep as well, but to be fair, we can't really tell whether this is on the night or the day just because of how dark this place is. That is interesting. So you're telling me that killing family members is going to mean he's truly free of guilt? Yeah. Oh yeah, she knows that. Yeah, look at how little consideration Morgana is giving. Jesus Christ. I mean, sure, Michel resonated with Morgana because it felt like Morgana was someone similar. Doesn't necessarily mean... Yeah, I suppose Ernie was very insecure, and that's a nice thing to latch onto, especially when you have nobody there. Just one person relating to you. That can really make a difference. Or even just the perception of the fact that someone is relating to you, which is obviously what Michel had here. True. god, what? True. What is she doing then? Well, Michel considers you somebody who is constantly, basically, doing something that's not too different to torture. Yeah. Really? Yeah, you can never run. That's the worst thing. Yeah. Go out of the mansion, see what happens. Well, he doesn't really want to because of the fact that he might be found. And that fear is probably just keeping him in, even if it's reasonable to think otherwise, that he won't be found if he goes out. What do you mean here? I wonder what she was actually going to say here. Well, I suppose somebody who had an affiliation with the church. Wasn't Morgana's mum a nun? I can't remember. Right, okay, so basically this Morgana's mum was just bootleg Mary from the Bible. She says, I carry within me the child of God. Yeah, okay, so that does kind of make sense. Yeah. Morgana is horrible. She really is doing as much as possible just to torture Michel. And where's that stuff about them being really quite close? Yeah, God, this is the worst. Because the thing is, there's such a reasonable argument for why Michel would give in, and that's why this is deadly. Yeah, God. You can just see Michel getting very, well, using his body as a means of taking out his anger. Yeah. It's so weird that Morgana kind of is like a ghost. She's been resurrected and yet at the same time she has no form whatsoever. And you could think that maybe this is a delusion within Michel's head, but firstly, he's very sane for somebody having a delusion, and secondly, I think it would be a stretch to say that because Morgana aligns exactly with the Morgana that we've seen before. Yeah, it's insane. They are the same, but they have a key difference. So, Michel curses his family. Then what? What happens after that? That's what I'm curious. Shit. And when Antonin died, what was the connection? Was there a connection as well? That's a good question to ask. Was it? And if there was, what? I could see why Gazelle would do that. Especially when Michel realises what Antonin has done to Gazelle. Bad timing, my god. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Dealing with Morgana should be, I don't know, well, 24-hour job, no pay, no sick pay, 7 days a week. Of course you would look terrible. Totally reasonable. You can't go on living like this. He's gonna kill himself at this point. Yeah, it must be unusual. Well, let's be honest, Morgana is beyond human reasoning anyway. Like, even in the 21st century, I mean, people don't just die. Why did her corpse disappear as well? I really do wonder. And does Morgana have a form? To be fair, I think that is a very good question. I mean, the thing is, the mansion is very, very dark. This is too light, this background, for giving us a true representation of how dark it is. Because I remember, I swear when Gazelle went into the mansion, or it was maybe Michel, I don't know, doesn't matter who, but there was a comment about not even being able to see your feet in the mansion just because of how dark it is. Morgana could actually have a form, it's just we've never seen it. No. If that's the case, then why when it's lighter does Michel hear the voices of Morgana? But that could just be because she's hiding. She could be this really, really genius hider. Who knows? If she's wearing dark clothes, then she could maybe do this? I don't know. Who would? Oh god. Oh, Morgana's probably having a fit of laughter here. Yeah. I mean, this is the worst. What do you do in a situation like this? How do you know that Morgana's not going to be there? I don't know. Well, she won't. That's the thing. God. There is a witch though, that's the worst thing. I don't know, I seem to have the idea that Michel's brothers are delivering these supplies. I think the mother is. I don't know why I thought that. I just swear I heard somewhere it being said that Michel's brothers delivered the supplies, but it doesn't look like they did. And that's interesting. Adds another layer onto Liddy's character, if you ask me. You are so rude. You do realise he's there listening to you? I agree. Fuck off. Yeah, and of course you're not even listening to a word he says. You're completely insane. Yeah, sure, but like, are you gonna listen to him, maybe? And then you realise that he is actually sane? But to be fair, I mean, let's be honest. Even nowadays you wouldn't be able, unless you heard the witch for yourself, you would just think, I don't know, this guy's hearing voices, that's not very good. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man, have your tantrum outside of Michel's view. What a dick. You're not, but it makes... it really sounds as if you are, from what you said. I agree. If Michel's mind is far from sound, then why does he still resist Morgana? And why hasn't he given? I totally disagree. I think Michel is actually of a surprisingly sound mind. But obviously Morgana is convincing him to do this just so that he has less hope in himself. So as a result of that, he can curse somebody in a more easy way. I just wonder what Morgana is to gain from this. And that is what I'm quite interested about, actually. Says you, Morgana. Actually, to be fair, I mean, Morgana's very, very twisted, but I think she is of sound mind. I mean, look at how skillfully she can manipulate Michel. Nobody of a mind that's not sound could do so. I was about to say that, but then I thought, like, properly skilled psychopaths, they could probably do this. Because there's some psychopaths that are really, really level-headed when it's relating to something that they want. And obviously they can do anything for what they want. Yeah, but it is interesting that the servant, just the hatred and the discrimination towards Michel, but also just how it's continued. I actually agree. You're not. So I think that Morgana is a bit tricky because I think she's a psychopath, let's be honest here. But at the same time, she's really, really level-headed. Oh damn, so a transition. God. Well, whenever people say, how can I... Oh my god, no way. Michel has a girl right by his side. What could possibly go wrong? I wonder how Morgana is going to react to when Gazelle and Michel get friendly. She really doesn't, and that's interesting. You can just totally see how disgusted she thinks. But I mean, I'm sorry, but who can ever blame her? She's never been shown... She has been shown kindness. But that just furtherly emphasises how dark her worst moments are, because they've been so dark that she's been able to forget about the kindness that was shown to her in, ironically, the house that lots of prostitutes operated in. But yeah, you forget that just because of how horrible the worst things that happened to you were. And they were horrible. There is no other way of putting it. Yeah, so what is the difference between Morgana and Amy? It's just Amy is bullying you because she's a total shithead and she's not... But the only thing is, Morgana's bullying Michel for a cause that she thinks is good. I just wonder what her true motive is. Oh yeah. I wonder if she can actually view Michel's thoughts somehow. Fair. Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, they have done something horrible, and let's be honest, a lot of people would have totally killed them. A lot of people would have said, yes, do it, because they wouldn't have any room for respect. This is horrible. I mean, there's so much trauma, and Morgana is just kind of forcing Michel to remember it. She's very, very tempting as well, especially with how her voice is. The magnetic elements that just seem to pierce you to the bone as well. Oh, it's all so simple, isn't it? Yeah, fair enough. Who could? Let's be honest. Your spirit's broken in your life. You should know, surely. God, isn't it ironic to think that Morgana was once considered a saint? And it is interesting when you can just see that personality trait just totally gone. And if anything, ironically, it is ironic. She was influenced by society to think that she was a saint, but then when society viewed her as a witch, she lost hope of everything and believed that rather than believing anything saint related, because it just resonated with her more. But what's interesting is the society around her has kind of influenced this whole witch personality to take place. Like, if she just died of blood loss because she was helping people as a saint, then she would never have had this witch-related personality. And I do wonder how she would be treating Michel. Obviously, she'd still want revenge, but I don't know if it would be as bad. I don't know, is the honest answer. I really don't know. Well, I think we all do. If Morgana's going to talk to Michel like this, just have a conversation. Just get to know each other. Why does it have to be so evil and sadistic? She is just so unnecessarily troublesome. Things are getting more interesting now. Yeah, you're allowed to hate the people who have wronged you, but you can't hate me because I'm obviously doing something that's very right, aren't I? Yeah, sure thing. This is what Michel would be if he listened to Morgana's temptations. This is what Michel would be if he listened to Morgana's temptations. Don't you think? And also, Mel, Yukimasa, Jacopo. That's told with her, from her experience, if you ask me. Isn't it interesting that she is using her experiences and everything that she has suffered as a means of emphasising just why Michel should think like her? Yeah, seriously, what did he do? It's really interesting. Yeah, but that's interesting. So I suppose it is kind of hard to tell. I mean, I'm sorry, but Morgana would never be this tempting and this troublesome if this was genuine concern. She would not be so sadistic and evil about it. You could be free of your pain, sure, but I'm sure there's a lot that will happen that Morgana is not really elaborating on. She's just elaborating on the idea of everything being perfect and everything being very, very peaceful. God, how cruel. I mean, how rude. You are a cursed man. Isn't that interesting? You really just get the impression here, if you ask me, that Morgana really isn't different from the rest of them in a way. Jesus Christ. You're not twisted. Seriously, you are yourself. Well, you've not known any different, so yeah. What's to say that what we consider a normal man here is actually the twisted side? I mean, to him it could be. To him, he could perceive everything that he's used to having as normal, and not anything else. I have an idea of what I'm thinking, but I can't really put it into words well. Yeah. Well, sure, you could think that, but then if you look at a thing called his thoughts, then you can totally reason it, if you ask me. You can totally reason it. Dude, that was a fucking painting. I mean, yeah, sure. We are not normal. He is not normal. But at the same time, he's had a ridiculously hard situation, and there are ways he needs to cope. There are ways that he needs to grieve. Of course, he's not going to be normal. If he was normal, then he would not be human, because he wouldn't have had a way to cope with said situation. God, is it wanting Michel to curse his family? Well, what Morgana is trying to do is make Michel think less of himself. So as a result of that, well, I suppose he just loses confidence and then goes with her decision. Really? Does he actually need to accept that? Ridiculous. It is interesting. The sanity causes him pain, but he wants it. Okay. Oh yeah, what happened to Morgana saying, oh, you're clearly not of a sound mind, you are cursed, you are just cursed guy named after the Archangel. What happened to all of that, Morgana? Yeah, isn't that interesting, that contradiction? That is reasonable. I think maybe Morgana is... I just wonder why Morgana is so intent on getting rid of Michel's family. Maybe it's because they are similar people, but at the same time, Michel's had a family, whereas Morgana hasn't. It would make them more similar. You're a bastard. Well... okay, I mean... let's rephrase that. You're an arsehole. Yeah. Fair enough. He is definitely human. I mean, yeah, sure. Do you know what? I actually agree with this, but I do not agree with the implication that he is not human and that he is cursed and that he should be something that is worshipped, really, really appreciated. Yeah, not whatsoever, and obviously the opposite happening. You are horrible. I mean, you're just telling Michel about everything that he could have had. Yeah. He didn't have a choice. It's not his fault. Yeah, so you're not going to have a prosperous life, so let's just say fuck it and become the lowest of the low. Okay then. Right. Oh, that's interesting. And yeah, you keep with that thought, Michel, because there is somebody called Gazelle who will come. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter about your biology. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, it's just, if you didn't see Michel without any clothes, I suppose, why would you not think that he's just a normal man? I mean, why should it make that much of a difference is the question. Just how his biology was. Yeah. I mean, sure, you don't have the biology of a man, but I mean, you are a normal human being. I mean, even if human beings have different biology, they still have... Well, they are still human. Yeah, not even Morgana does. Not even Morgana. Fuck off. Isn't it interesting that Morgana is trying to relate to Michel for obviously being the same, yet at the same time, Morgana just being another one of those bullies. Just reflecting what society, the restrictions society has imposed on Michel's life back to him. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, totally, yeah. Yeah, with the promise of a better world always facing you. True. You can't, no. And they wouldn't have if it wasn't for Morgana. Fair. Oh god. Something's gonna go wrong. Fair enough. You really need Gazelle. Oh my god. Oh god, what's gonna happen? What? What? I thought this was maybe metaphorical, but no, it is quite literally happening. Jesus Christ. So basically go outside and you're going to get ridiculously burnt. So why, when Michel was leaving to go to the weird guy in the forest who is meant to deliver his letters, why was he able to do that? There's got to be some sort of thing that has changed. God, so basically you will not leave, otherwise you will burn. Jesus Christ. Yeah, fair enough. Great deal of pity? What? Surely it's the opposite? Is there going to be no reflection? Where had it come from? That is unusual. I mean... So why did it happen the second Michel exited? That's my question. I disagree, and I think it's really interesting that Morgana is... But the only thing that's weird about Morgana is she doesn't have anything magic related going on. No, actually, no. I can disprove that with how she firstly came alive and secondly how the body disappeared. The skeleton disappeared. So maybe Morgana is actually using some sort of weird form of magic to just make a false point proven to Michel. So stop ruining his life then, maybe? That's a good idea. Yeah, fair enough. Suicide? Yeah. It must be really painful thinking something like this. Yeah. I mean, obviously we all do it, but like this, very few people do. Why do you think that you're not a human? That's just what the world is saying about you. It's ridiculous. That's a really bad path to go down, but okay. Good, yeah. You curse somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to die as well. That's unusual. Yeah, and this paves the road for why Michel is such an arsehole when Gazelle comes. Yeah. That's actually really interesting, so I suppose this is kind of metaphorical in the sense that the promise of light and the promise of a way out burns him, because when you realise how unrealistic the light is to obviously go into, you retreat into the darkness again, and then you're just back at step one. But now he has no care of a way out, so I suppose the light doesn't really do anything to him. Yeah. It's kind of like the cocoon analogy that the maid had. Yeah. Well, like he says, it is so much easier to think like this. What about Morgana? Because he's become indifferent. What now? Ah, right. This is a good point to stop, I think. Right. Yeah, I'll continue tomorrow. See you then. Even though it's literally going to be a few seconds for you guys, it's going to be a whole day for me. Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, we looked at around 500 years in just a mere 2 hours in that 6 hour, I think it's episode 27. I don't know. Let me just check. It is 27 as well. Yeah. Yeah, 6 hours, and yet we see the entirety of Gazelle's life just casually progressing. God, chapter 6 was so cool. It was really nice to see the maze journey, and I just love how it all really links together. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Morgana. I just want to learn more, really. She's really quite a nice character, and she's very unusual as well. I wanted to learn why she wanted Michel to curse. I really do. Right, okay, I am back. So, yeah, what we're firstly going to do is just look at what we've read. Just see if we can get anything more from it like I usually do. So is this the scene where Michel burns and then... Yeah. I literally read I wasn't burned. Yeah. Yeah, but I do find that really interesting. I just find it surprising. I mean, Michel kind of gets this sensation of burning. It is as if he is being overcooked. I mean, there has got to be something that Morgana is doing that she's not telling that she's not obviously saying any of the details about to us, because if she would, then obviously that would give what she's trying to convey less of an impact. Yeah, and it's interesting, that point she's trying to make. God. I mean, look at how much Morgana is talking Michel down, and also just in general convincing Michel to just to look at himself awfully. I mean, what is the difference between Morgana and any of the bullies that he has received so far? If anything, Morgana's a lot worse, because this cursing business, what would that mean for Michel? And I really do wonder, when Michel was with Gazelle, did he finally give in, I wonder? Just so that they could have a good life together? Yeah, totally reasonable. And it is interesting, if you fight, you're in pain. So as a result of that, just stop fighting and then everything will be okay. Yeah. Isn't it unbelievable to think about the fact that Michel can realise something like this? And it's interesting, Morgana just totally wanting Michel to well, I suppose not really to feel like this, but to curse, and I suppose to let all of his humanity out. But my God, it's horrible to think about the fact that he's finally defeated here. Yeah, and he's finally trying to believe what the world says about him, because if he fights, he feels pain, too much pain, and obviously Morgana's there as well. Yeah, he still remains firm. That's interesting. So he's completely destroyed himself, and like Morgana said, his family, what are they, truly? I mean, you have a mother that can't accept you, you have brothers that have abandoned you, you have a horrible father who wanted you dead. I mean, there are so many things that would give a reason for Michel to want to kill his family, and yet at the same time he just can't, because of, I think, the memories he had. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's just because it hurts, yeah. But that is really interesting. I find this very surprising, and I suppose that does kind of make sense when you think about the scene with Gazelle and Michel. But what surprises me about that is Morgana potentially made it so that Michel, well, the effect Michel would have with sunlight is exaggerated so that he would stay in the mansion, I'd assume. I think that's just a subtle thing that she's done. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, but it's weird. I suppose if you have emotion, then you get burnt and you get completely destroyed by the outside and your surroundings. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah. To be fair, that is totally reasonable though. I mean, there's an archangel there who obviously lets you be sad at the contrast that you have compared to the archangel, because obviously Michel believes himself to be cursed rather than the angelic nature of the angel, who he should, and that is something that he should have, considering that his name is very similar to it, but he doesn't, and it's totally the opposite. That's what the world believes. I like that. He calls them tongues. The fuck? Oh god. Never mind. Random tiny insect on my mouse mat. It's the last thing I was expecting. Yeah, they quite literally consume your mind. And isn't it interesting to think about the fact that Michel stops caring, he stops fighting, and he stops feeling pain, and has peace as a result of that. Yeah. That's fair enough. Especially considering what Michel has experienced. Yeah, fair enough. God. Even after Michel has tranquility, Morgana still continues. Is he just going to say nothing? I mean, like he said, he feels peaceful though. That's all he needs. Well, let's be honest, Morgana's probably going to refute that and say, you can't die, not with me in your presence. God. Yeah. just think it's hilarious to think about the fact that Michel is not saying a word to what Morgana is saying. Oh my god, it really shows a change, and it shows a lack of provocation as well, with especially stuff like this. Yeah. Interesting. What's happening now? It's just a sudden pause. Oh, it's this theme, okay. So now we're going to see what happens with Michel and Gazelle, I wonder. I wonder if that's the case. Yeah, it's going to be very nice to see Morgana's reaction to all of this as well. But that is, I find it really interesting, because you would have thought that normally if somebody's mind and spirit was too far decayed, they would have the drive to take their life because of how awful things are. But I think, if anything, that just really shows how horrible Michel's life is, because he doesn't even have the drive to end it. He's just indifferent about everything. It really feels as if he is emotionless. Yeah, the 10th year. Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. So I suppose you could say that it's as if when not much was happening in the mansion, time was just at a standstill, because he wasn't really paying attention to the time. Don't ask me how he knows that it's his 10th year, but okay. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I swear he counted the months of when the servant came to give his items. Yeah, he was an arsehole, yeah. But it's totally reasonable when you just realise how horribly he's been treated. It was very, very rude. And I love Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is so valuable to this overall experience. I don't think Gazelle's story would have been nearly as engaging if it wasn't for Chapter 4. Yeah. I wouldn't be reading this story. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean just because you were very indifferent and you're just so... I suppose he's so stressed and burdened by his emotions that he's just kind of separated from them. But, yeah, at the same time, I suppose he definitely could go down that path. I mean, it just takes one thing to go wrong, and then obviously for him to listen to Morgana, for everything to crumble. Yeah. And he didn't become a demon thanks to this woman here. Man! Isn't that ironic? Yeah, she accepted you from the day one. Yeah. Oh, I know, God, it could be some sort of criminal. Or it could be somebody who's mentally insane. Yeah, you say that now. It was only by sheer coincidence that Gazelle could have a good life with Michel in the end. Yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah, of course. Isn't it interesting? Morgana is doing anything to put Michel down. Morgana is just trying to make Michel's life a misery because there's some sort of hope, and then Morgana just tries to ruin it all. But why is she doing this? Maybe it's... I don't know. To be fair, we've seen a lot of how Morgana acts towards Michel. We don't really know any of her feelings, though. No, she won't. You do not know Gazelle. Yeah, fair enough. I know, isn't it ironic? He's properly giving Morgana the Amy treatment, just completely ignoring her. You couldn't have asked a better question, yeah. That is fair. But why should you care? I mean, sure you live here, but... I mean, I get that she is intruding on your property. It's not your property. Well, in the place you live in, but is she a threat? No. Is she actually kind? Yes. Right. Oh my god, she's probably going to use that that thought process of if a woman always smiles, she is hiding something really bad. Isn't it interesting that Morgana becomes so much less powerful in terms of the messages that she can deliver when Michel says nothing? Yeah, she actually said it. Says the person that's literally trying to chase somebody out of a house who has done nothing wrong. Oh god. Jesus. Yeah, fair enough. It is interesting. I do wonder how Michel would have treated Gazelle if she was keeping no secrets whatsoever. I mean, they wouldn't have met each other if that was the case, if she didn't have anything to hide. But if the secrets weren't bad, I wonder what would have happened. Ah yes, my favourite warm world. The one where Morgana is just constantly talking you down and whispering in your ear. Stuff like that. Yeah, that's really my idea of peace. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's always within her best interest, which is quite surprising. I do wonder how Morgana is going to react after Michel and Giselle have love. Because I remember there were some times where Morgana was talking into Michel's ear. I think this is the nicest thing that Morgana has said. Like, if you didn't know the context, you would not really think that she's bad. But then you realise the context. What, as in he's actually said a word? Like, over one word to Morgana? Oh, right. So this is the apathetic Michel. One that's disinterested of everything. Oh my god. God, I wonder how Giselle must smell to Morgana, if that's the case. Yeah. That is really surprising. That's weird to think about the fact that this is, I don't know religion, but if this is an actual truth, and it's just interesting in the sense that society has totally taken it out of context and thinks anybody is cursed who has something like this going on with themselves. Well, no shit, because society hates him. For no reason. A saint. Isn't that ironic? Well, at least he's saying it. Of course. God. Oh my god, no, this is not the obese rat incident. I hope we see Michel's, well, we did see Michel's point of view on it, I don't know. Imagine if we see more on that. Yeah, smiling just to keep the pain away, really. Yeah, fair enough. And ironically, her family and her smile, the most unique things. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? That's just really, really obvious to Michel because of a life of being totally deceived. Yeah, I mean, no shit. He's known somebody like Amy, of course that's the case. It does make sense, you just can't see the good in people and you can't see anything apart from possible suspicion. But she did. That's the thing. You just can't see the good in people. And no wonder, especially if you have somebody like Morgana constantly muttering in your ear. Yeah. Because Michel was right. I mean, knowledge of him, there's a reason Antonin wanted him dead. Knowledge of him could completely destroy the Bollinger family. Yeah, fair enough. True. It's totally reasonable. Jesus Christ. Yeah, reasonable. Why does Gazelle's sprite in the darkness look so weird? I think it's just how her skin is coloured. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Because maybe if Gazelle told you the truth, there would be no reason to mistrust her. And they have had a limited amount of days, so maybe... Actually, I say that, but let's be honest, if Michel and Gazelle fell for each other and they had a potential relationship here, the same cause of Michel's death would have happened. I.e., he would have sent a message to his mother. Wait, no, hang on a second, sorry. No, it wouldn't have. It would have happened at the same time. I forgot Antonin died. Yeah, so you could have spent more days with Gazelle had you trusted yourself and had you not listened to your mother. I mean, obviously your mother loves you, but your mother is also a little bit insane because of stress, basically. So why would you trust her? Yeah, totally reasonable. What a bitch. Amy, I'm talking about, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's just, I suppose you're quite stressed, you're quite provoked, and as a result of that, you just think about the easiest truth. Yeah, oh my god, so this is going to be the response. Yeah. Really now? God. Oh, really? Yeah, you're not just going to leave out the part that it was the father who started all of this? And also, that is not... There's nothing of the sort? Not true at all? Yeah, sure thing. That's unusual. I just really wonder how much Antonin knows. I mean, maybe it could have been convincing from the brothers? I don't know. But the only thing is we have no idea what the brothers are actually doing. We have no idea just how they are going on with their lives and obviously what they feel to Michel as well. Isn't it horrible to think just how little somebody like Gazelle can be listened to? Because obviously it's just a hierarchy. I mean, you listen to the person who has the most money and the most influence and power rather than the person who actually holds the truth. Yeah, but I just find it really surprising that the father would not... No, I get why. Because the father has done all of this, and I think he clearly has, like, maybe a fragment of goodness within him, because he's, well, basically non-consensually fucked somebody and forced them to do so as well. And obviously a whole other lots of things like physical abuse. So he maybe couldn't live with himself if he then killed this person. But I mean, it just doesn't really line up. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you do things this nasty as that, I'm surprised that you'd care about killing somebody. So I don't know. I don't know about this. Yeah, unaware. Yeah. Well, he prays that the mother can begin loving Michel again. And even though, oh, he's not fully a man. Isn't that ironic? Because I suppose... No, never mind. I was going to make a point, but it doesn't really work in the end. Really? Okay then. Isn't it horrible just how loving the mother is, but she's loving to the daughter, not the person who is cursed. And it's really unrealistic. Surely if this person has been cursed, then you shouldn't... Well, no, she doesn't believe that the person writing the letter is cursed. Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ, that was her knife. Oh, God. So what's going to happen if a cursed person uses the knife then? Because you believe that Michel's cursed. But you don't believe the person who's writing the letter is cursed, to be fair. Yeah, sure thing. Dude, it's just fucking chemicals. I'm sorry, I shouldn't really be like that. I just find this ridiculous. God. Michel could not kill her in the end, though. Yeah. And fucking hell, it's a very sharp blade as well. Yeah, Michel really looking like a demon there. Oh my God, that's you. Can I just... Who the fuck am I asking? Of course I can, it's my video. Anyway, I just want to see, what was the exact line? Right. Should be somewhere around here, I hope. Oh, I love myself for... Yeah, I suppose. And isn't that interesting just how similar Michel and Gazelle are? You tell Michel that he is not a man and he will break. You tell Gazelle that he has slept with Michel's father and she will break. So that is the course. And I suppose... Yeah. Yeah, and she totally lost... God, that's horrible. Yeah, you can properly see how traumatized she is. God. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally reasonable, yeah. Yeah, you still didn't think of going after her. To be fair, you can't. But can you? Can you not? Really? Surely if you've done something that really, really provokes somebody, then you should go after them, even if you can't. But I suppose if you die, if you go, then maybe it might be better not to. I don't know. You realise that, and yet you are peaceful. True. But let's be honest, it's not going to be kept forever. And isn't it interesting, Gazelle has a smile, but that's not because she's untrustworthy, it's because she's trying to hide stuff that she's traumatized about. So she's happy in order to kind of distract herself from her pain. True. What an arsehole. Fair? No. Not at all. True. I'm surprised Morgana would say that. Really? Sure, it's a sin, but it's not hers. It's the other one's, Antonin's. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She didn't even care that there was a knife there. Not at all. She just genuinely fucked off as quick as she possibly could, just so that she could get away from that place. Well, like Morgana said, he's not very human. Well, to be fair, I mean, it could be the case that what was I going to say? It could be the case that she has genuinely committed that sin and she's just very terrified of what Michel could do for her, so as a result of that she screams. But no, there's just a look that conveys terror that a scream couldn't really do, I suppose. Anyone can, really. A man can do the same. I mean, she's not a bad person, it's just she's in pain. You're not falling for anything, you're just analysing, I suppose. Yeah. Something does not add up. It's interesting that. And it is really interesting that he can just tell. Because he's human. Even though Michel has become totally disinterested, he's become an arsehole to people like Gazelle, and obviously he's given up on hope and given up on everything. He is still a human being, and he is still a good person. It's just obviously he's had a very, very tough life. And isn't it interesting that Gazelle, in her living life, never got to know the truth of what was happening with Michel? And I can't believe Michel. I mean, my God, that chat about the crush and Amy. I mean, what the fuck? How can you mention that with such peace? Weird. But how do you know she's a tormentor, though? Well, I suppose if you think she's a tormentor, she is. Really? I think you should be the person who has had a throat sliced, Morgana. Yeah, sure thing. I think if this was the case, he would not have cared about her reactions. I think Michel always had doubt. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you've done something and Michel, if somebody has done something to Michel, why doesn't he feel the need to instantly act? Why does he have to go through that? No, actually, no, forget what I'm saying. Be quiet, yeah, shut up. Yeah, because she's a bully. Well, it's not really the case that she's a bully, she's just very, very twisted. I really do wonder if she's doing all of this for... No, she's not. She's not. No, I just wonder... Actually, I wonder if she's doing everything for her own good and what she thinks would be the best for Michel. Well, no, she's being brought home by, let's be honest, probably another woman who... Sorry, woman? I mean, man who wants to take advantage of her. Yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah, that is not the reaction of somebody who simply doesn't kill because they can't be bothered to clean up and don't want a smell of blood in their house. Which could have happened. If it wasn't for that Armidi guy, she would not have lived. No way. Yeah, couldn't have been better. Yeah. Yeah. It's a very, very mutual feeling. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what Morgana must have thought. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I do find it really interesting just being able to... I do find it really quite surprising that the light didn't burn. Time treks on once again. Yeah, but that is interesting though. I find it surprising, this in particular. I just find it really unusual that so Michel feels better, and he finds someone he can relate to, and he has company that's not complete poison for the first time in 10 years. Nah, let's say 12 years. And I suppose that just makes him able to appreciate the outside world more. I just wanted to see, what was the absolute breaking point? And what I'm just curious what totally changed Gazelle. Right, here we go. Can I just mention that Michel has no strength whatsoever, and look at how courageous and how intimidating and fearful he can seem. And what I find really quite significant about that is you can really see that he just has the strength of a man here. And not the strength, sorry, I meant the courage of a man. Yeah. Right, so was it just... Let's just reread this, why not? Yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell, yeah, that is really quite something. This is a bit misleading, don't you think? I mean, I suppose your family have wronged you so much, so it does make sense that it would be quite awful just to see that their crimes extend from beyond you. What's that? Oh yeah, just Michel having no etiquette whatsoever. Oh, actually, I don't think... Let's just see this transition. Yeah, everything becomes that little bit more light. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm sorry, but how could you ever look at somebody and their reactions that are similar to gazelles and just not believe them? I mean, anybody would. And it does help that Michel had that suspicion of there being something more to Gazelle beforehand. Yeah, fair enough. No, I mean, you're never going to tell me that Michel wasn't human. No, Michel was always human. It's just he had a really rough deal. But what about your childhood before everything went wrong? Before you became more of a man than a woman? Yeah. How weird for Michel to say. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Are you in the vase? What? And isn't it funny to think about the fact that Michel feels as if he's more human, and yet Morgana isn't there whatsoever? And she's just becoming more and more insignificant? Master. She still calls her master. Oh my god, there's a cat. What? No way, it's obviously Ugly Speckles. Best name for a cat. I'm curious, has anybody done fan art of Ugly Speckles? I've got to search this up. Oh my god. I've got absolutely no idea where this is from. Oh my god. But look at this. There is actually some fan art. I don't know where this is from. I'm not going to search just in case of spoilers, but still. My favourite Fata Morgana related thing. Anyway, I should stop looking in case of spoilers. Oh yes, Umineko Chapter 6 is definitely the same as Fata Morgana. Yeah, totally reasonable. Yeah. Must be so, so nice for him. Yeah. Yeah, it's totally reasonable. I mean, even the most trivial things can be absolute godsends to people with shitty lives like Michel. Of course. Yep, Gazelle definitely doesn't speak like a woman either. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah, good point. Yeah, fair enough. Just another indication of how good of a person Gazelle is, really. Ah yes, you don't mind cats, so as a result of that, it's obvious that you'll be okay with having one. Good logic. I love that's the last thing she thought of. How awful is... Who's... Oh god, don't give Michel the power to name something. Oh my god. But if I'm going to be honest, I really get the impression that Michel being totally losing himself and losing any point of kind of going on and any point of caring of anything. I think that was vital because that has made him instinctively just forget about his character and, let's be honest, just totally letting go of any hopes of anything just because of, well, just so that he can live a better life, really. And that, I suppose, that lets Gazelle distract himself from his problems more, because obviously his problems aren't as impactful. So I actually think that was good for Michel's sake. Really? Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, and it isn't exactly Michel's house, it's his father's. Oh my god. Oh no. Of course he does. Oh my god. Oh my god, is he? Yeah, he's gonna say ugly speckles, isn't he? Mark II. Yeah. Gazelle's now really regretting this. How does she not know? Hello, Ugly Speckles Mark II? Yeah. Wait, is it Mark II or Make II? Yeah, Mark. Yeah. Yeah. Totally reasonable. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. So brutal. Yeah. Yeah. And you can put all of that aside. Gazelle just casually being a mother. Oh god. Oh my god, Jess. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, they've been banished. Their family, they have really, really bad problems outside of where they are now. So why not make the most of the time together? Just create your own little world rather than obviously living in the world that's too painful. And make the best out of your situation. Make the best out of your life as well. Fair. And that is his decline. Of course he does. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have not known happiness, you have not known any emotion apart from just the results of being persecuted for years. You need somebody actually good in your life who accepts you. Isn't it horrible with Michel though? If somebody doesn't know his true biology, they will totally accept him as a man. It's just that one little detail that has ruined his life with his family. Right, here's where things probably get really, really interesting. Yeah. We're still getting... yeah, where the fuck did Morgana go? Yeah. We're still getting this way of presenting. I just don't really understand why we're not getting the sprites. I mean, yeah, I like it. It's unique. I just wonder what the thought process behind adding it was. I bet you anything he's going to curse his father. Ooh, it's secret, isn't it? Yeah. Because it's important, maybe. Okay, you do realise that I'm gonna twist everything I'm reading to fit my theory. just put that out there now. I wish I said nothing. Oh my god, that's hilarious. But the thing is though, I'm sorry, it would have been reasonable. That's interesting. I thought he would have asked for the father to be cursed. I'm really surprised. Wow. I mean, obviously Michel has become human and his life has become way, way better. So I suppose it was just coincidence that the father died. I was absolutely convinced that he was going to do it himself, so I'm very surprised. Wow. But isn't it interesting, the more human Michel becomes, the less Morgana tries to drag him down, and obviously the less that Morgana can relate to him. And I really think that Morgana tried to make Michel more like her, just so that she would have somebody that she could live through all of this together with. Somebody, I mean, it's just horrible because she is somebody who has lived with nothing but hatred and evil and malice and just in general psychopathy, let's be honest here. And she tried to bring Michel down to that level just so that they could spend their days together. So I suppose Gazelle's, Morgana's, the future man for Morgana has been stolen now. Yeah. Yeah, totally reasonable. I mean, she doesn't know. And even if she did know, she would accept you because she's, like, an actual good person. Yeah, and a person where none of that matters. Well, fair enough. He thinks it's important, so yeah. Yeah, fair enough. But it is interesting. That's another reason why Morgana would have maybe wanted to get to know Michel more, I suppose, because they were both failed people who had the potential to become very, very religious. Well, powerful in terms of religious standpoint. Well, from a religious standpoint. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And it is, nothing changes his will to maintain his humanity. Nothing does. But why? Why is he blind? God, how rude. Just really, really looking down on him. Why? He's completely changed. What do you mean? Yes? To be fair, that is a good point though. I mean, I think Gazelle's a good enough person to want to do that, but who knows? Maybe not everybody does. Really? Well, I mean, funnily enough, these people have known each other for a long time, and Gazelle has been able to see Michel totally change, and obviously they've been able to, Gazelle's been able to know what is inside Michel's heart rather than his biology. So surely it won't matter in the end because of what's inside him as a person rather than what he physically looks like. Really? What a bastard. Yeah, he understands that and he knows that there could be a possibility of failure, and yet at the same time he still continues just because he wants a good life. I mean, how can you ever blame him? True. If anything, surely it makes it even better because it will go, so you make the most of what time you have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that interesting? That's a really cool analogy. Yeah. Really? Because she knows what that could possibly cause Michel. we've just got to... So basically, Morgana has now just told Michel what must not happen. That's how he's going to interpret it. But I just find that really interesting, and it's just another indication of the fact that Morgana can't see good in the world whatsoever. And it's really apparent here, just because you have all of the happiness that Michel was experiencing with Gazelle, and just Morgana only looking at the negatives and thinking about the worst aspects of what could happen. So I suppose it's not only that there will be grief. So I suppose you shouldn't ever have happiness, because the more you have it, the more you'll be sad about the grief when it all disappears. I mean, how ridiculous is that? You finally found something worth living for, and yet you feel like this. I would be really interested in if there was ever a route where Michel and Morgana actually kind of... Well, Michel cursed people, and then maybe... I don't know... he became more equal with Morgana. I do wonder if they could ever have potential to fall in love. That would be so weird. Isn't it interesting, this jealousy? Yeah, it's just you're happy now, but it's never going to last, and you're never going to be able to feel long-term happiness, so... yeah. And it is interesting in this seventh door when we've kind of seen Morgana... well, Michel really try... sorry, Morgana to really try and understand... sorry, make Michel understand her. And there is just a wonder in what Morgana truly wants out of all of this. Yeah, when would he ever say something like that before? And isn't it interesting that Gazelle is talking... I'm sorry, Michel is talking about this to Gazelle. Something that so many people would just normally think of him as deranged for saying, and yet Gazelle accepts it. I'm sorry, but if she can accept something like this, of course she will accept Michel's truth about, I don't know, his gender. Or, like, the ambiguity surrounding it. what the Morgana must think of that. It is wonderful news though, seriously. Yeah, very, very true. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Somebody actually accepts you. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he has gone through some tough and absolutely horrible situations, so of course. I mean, yeah, fair enough, happiness won't last forever, and there is a potential for it to all end, but... And, yeah, I can see that. And it's not only for you, it's for Gazelle as well. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Isn't it sick to think just how Michel has to keep a secret like this? It's as if he's something that's wrong or taboo or just something that people cannot accept. It's just sad. Yeah, exactly. It's just his feelings which are too much for him to kind of take, so that's what makes him forget about what Morgana says to him. just can't. He really can't. He tried, but... yeah. Yeah. I just think it's so unbelievably sick that you can really see that even after Michel was very, very happy and actually is living a life worth living, he still just has such... he just puts himself down so instinctively. What was that? The part about... yeah, you had no right to any such thing. Yeah. You had no... yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, the rose. Wow, god. I love the CG so much. It's a really unusual CG. Yeah, and this one as well. Yeah. The very, very awkward rose. God, I remember that really, really awkward scene where Michel was going to draw Gazelle and just wanted Gazelle to stand still, well, sit there still, and just because he was just saying anything because he couldn't contain his feelings. Oh my god, I know. Yeah, it's so awkward, yeah. Fair enough. I mean, the only thing... I get what Morgana was saying, but at the same time, surely... it's kind of a gamble, really. I mean, you could either not really fall in love much, or you could just totally go in there. But at the same time, though, it's good that you don't totally become obsessed with somebody quickly, because then it's never going to last. And if Michel was obsessed with Gazelle, then maybe that would impact the quality of the time that they could have spent with each other. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you can't say a word. Yeah. He still thinks that. The thing that's horrible is that he didn't have the courage to tell Gazelle, because he just feels like he's indulging in something that can never truly happen, because he just thinks that everybody is not going to accept him for who he is. I bet you, if Michel said something, Gazelle would say, "Oh wow, that's a surprise, I've never seen anybody like that before." The end. I'm sure that would be everything. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. 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 Oh my god, yeah. And isn't it interesting that we saw this scene? Gazelle had exactly the same concerns as Michel did, and yet Michel never thought of doing it as well. Isn't that interesting? You can just see how scared he is of everything to do with it. So much so that he doesn't even have the courage to do what Gazelle has done here. What? Oh god. Yeah. Really? I mean, yeah, sure, but you can still fuck each other. That is fair. Yeah, just another thing. It's horrible. It's just unbelievable that no matter how close they get, Michel will still think like this. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, your heart's known what you are. And as a result of that, you can even see when he's happy and he's living the best part of his life. Just his life, well, his emotions just so unfairly making it so that he can't advance in this relationship, really. Yeah. That's really horribly put, but it's true. True. I know, it's just unfair. It's nothing short of unfair. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Before we go on, I just want to get a little recap of the exact events that happen in the scene. Oh, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. Look at this. Look at Morgana. Oh, shit. Look at this. Isn't that interesting? This happens even there. What an arsehole. Wait, so... God, Michel just casually not letting himself go. Wait, hang on a second. So... oh my God. So, Gazelle has just said, I love you. Look at what Michel says. That's so funny. So surprising. I can't believe Michel was saying this. Yeah. Such an unbelievable twist. Yeah, fair enough. Isn't that interesting that Morgana then says that? I think it's just... yeah, I don't think Morgana expected this next part. Yeah, and look at this, him totally defying the voice of Morgana. Jesus Christ, look at this. Oh my God. Oh my God, so... Yeah, don't. Oh my god. Shut up, Morgana. Look, actually. Yeah. You did not regret it. Never. I can't believe that though. That's so much cooler now that we know everything about Amy, and just seeing how Michel just totally thinks that all of the scars that are related to the situation he is going through, and he lets so many things quite reasonably completely push him down, and yet he just totally wins. And he defies Morgana as well. How do you know Antonin's passed away? What if that was a lie? To be fair, that is actually a good point. You've not really got many ways of proving it. In theory. Dude, your mother still exists. What are you even talking about? I mean, the only thing is he is having such a good life and it's filled with potential, so of course you're just going to be unrealistic and you're going to be kind of swept away by what could happen rather than what is happening. And I totally see that. I mean, let's be honest, we all experience something like that, but yeah. 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 And yet you still make the risk. True. Would they? You can, but you can't let that remove realism, which, let's be honest, is kind of what happened. He took a gamble and he failed, basically. Yeah, of course you did. Who wouldn't? And isn't it interesting when we think about Morgana? We think about Michel doing anything to protect Gazelle, rather than a curse. Which is actually quite surprising. I wonder what if we're going to elaborate on that, if we're going to have the visual novel elaborate on that moment anymore. Yeah. Oh god, here we are. So I suppose just the step where Michel has hope of securing a future and moving out of this mansion. God. That's awful. I mean, he's going to have to do it eventually, let's be honest, but yeah. Yeah. Look at how unrealistic this sentence is. I mean, your brothers maybe, but your mother? Really? But to be fair, now that Antonion's gone, could there be some sort of massive change? Could there be power for a change? But you really think that's going to happen when Amy's there? Really? If I'm going to be honest, I think Michel's just going too much on instinct, and it's horrible because Michel wants to live a good life with Gazelle, of course. But as a result of that, he's kind of thinking a bit too idealistically. But it's totally reasonable because it's a big step that he has to make in the relationship. Of course, he's going to want to think like this. Seriously, yeah. Well, yeah. He couldn't return home. Sure. Did he ever predict death because of it? Exactly. God. But could a normal man provide her happiness? It doesn't matter about. Isn't it sad that Michel really, really hasn't realised that it matters about the inside and not an outside, or not the outside of a person? I mean, it's reasonable that he hasn't. It's still just really sad that he hasn't. At the same time, though. Oh god. Yeah. And this is just... my god, a new theme. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it always was. Yeah, exactly. It's sick. This is what happens when somebody persecuted for who they are tries to live a life like a normal person. I mean, Jesus Christ, you deserve this much. You've lived such a difficult life and you try to live a life that's just remotely peaceful and you do this. But that's your mistake. You're unrealistic about your circumstances, which it's horrible to say, but I think it's reasonable. I think Michel was too hopeful. Who ordered the knights? But is that the answer to the question? We will never know. Is that the answer? Who sent the knights? It's not his fault whatsoever. It's society's fault for not being able to accept people like him. Oh, Jesus, and isn't it awful to think about the fact that Gazelle will never know until like 1,000 years later, but yeah. No. Isn't it funny that he uses this as an excuse? Because it is really unusual. But that was ironically something he wasn't too discriminated for, which is quite surprising. I thought he would have been discriminated more for that, but no. Especially considering, it does kind of make sense that the white-haired girl was discriminated against it more now. Wait, no, hang on, it doesn't. No, I used incorrect reasoning. No, never mind. There is way more. Yeah. And isn't it awful to think that if Michel was not like this, if he just decided to live here, none of this would have happened. Would it have happened though? What if they never received food? What if there's been a real change that has made it so that the mother hasn't been able to get food out? And also, what happens when the mother has died? If I'm going to be honest, I think Michel made a big mistake trying to contact his family. He should have just stayed there, and I really do wonder what would have happened if he totally had a... the thing is, it's so difficult because he can't do physical labour, he's just not strong enough. Well, he can't instantly do it, but the thing is, you need food to live. It would probably take him more time to train for physical labour than it would to actually survive. Well, and I just feel like it would be very, very difficult, and I don't think he'd be able to do much with it. I don't know if he would have been able to work, but I just think doing something, making it so that you don't have those dependencies on your family to live, that would have been so much more sensible. Yeah, he was a fool, and I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. Yeah. What did he do? I thought witches were meant to be female. You would curse somebody, not like this. Yeah. I thought Morgana only said that she would curse somebody. That's weird. totally agree. Yeah. I really do wonder who did. Because if it was the mother, then surely the brothers, if they were any, if they had any strength as people, then what they would do is they would say no, and they would refuse it. Georges has the authority to do so. Yeah. Isn't it awful to think about the fact that these people have such a close relationship and they have the worst crisis, and yet Michel can't even fully put his attention to Gazelle. But at the same time, this might save them, so he has to take yet another gamble. Yeah. Morgana never sinned, what? Yeah, people were unbelievable. What if you said Morgana here? Yeah, you don't want anyone who is innocent dying. Yeah, totally. I know, it's just the last thing Morgana was expecting. True. Yeah, she thought that this was finally going to be the end. Isn't it unbelievable to think about how selfless Michel will be? I mean, he is... But the only thing is, I suppose there's a question of if you murder so many so that your love can continue, then what are you? A person who wants to have a love, or a murderer? And there was nothing for him anyway. There was nobody who was going to accept him. It was so... He wouldn't have been able to make his life begin again here. People would constantly try to kill you. Even if you did curse these people, you would not be able to have lived. And it's just, I think, and he would have become a murderer, potentially have become a psychopath as well. No matter what happened, I think that Michel would never have been able to have the love be fulfilled in the future. He should have waited for the mum to die. He really should have. Then he should have made his move. Actually, no, I'm sorry, but Georges has somebody like Amy on his side. Or at least, well, we don't know, but assuming he does, why the fuck would he be able to see Michel's true intent? Amy would have probably made a very big impact on Georges while Michel was gone. They probably hate his guts. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I do wonder what she would have offered if he did want to curse somebody beforehand. Yeah, I totally agree. God, he's thinking so in such a level-headed way as well. It's just so unfair. And yet he is doing everything so that Gazelle can be protected. Yeah, fair enough. Witness ultimate despair. Isn't that interesting? Michel probably is yet another of the people's souls who was cursed. But isn't it interesting when we think about everything relating to this being cursed? Because Morgana's definition of cursing somebody is making it so that their soul reincarnates into suffering. So you're just going to not only murder somebody, but you're also going to make it so that everything in the future... Actually, no. I think just cursing somebody might be making them die a humiliating death. Because, for example, Morgana considered the people in her story, the people who drank her infected blood and obviously died as a result, she considered them to be cursed. Yeah, quite literally. Isn't that unbelievable, the fact that she... I really do wonder what has happened. Morgana has done everything so that... I really do wonder what Morgana's intents were. But, because what has happened is, I suppose, Morgana has kept Gazelle here, and then everything has continued. There have been so many times where Morgana has kind of manipulated Gazelle just so that there would be no possibility of Gazelle getting to know Michel better, and obviously she just watched when the white-haired girl was so obviously not falling for the maid. And isn't it interesting that the maid just instinctively fell for somebody who was a woman? I mean, let's be honest, Michel, I suppose biologically they're not too different, but obviously emotionally they are very different. Totally reasonable. Yeah. It's you. Yeah. Yeah, he actually has a reason to be terrified. Fully protected. God. Yeah. No matter what you did, you protected your lover. But was that kindness? Or did you just put her through torture? But unfortunately you wouldn't know because you did what you think was best. It's just sick. He's doing the best he can now. They've got no hope of escaping, so he's just going to submit. Why is the door completely sealed then? I wonder what Morgana must be thinking of that. You do. All people would pray. You do not realise what Morgana would... You do not realise Morgana's power. You really, really don't. And you do not realise what she will do once you have gone. I know, it's just so important that you just don't know what to say. Yeah, I don't blame him, yeah. And same for Michel. Yeah. He's doing the best he possibly can. Well, he's saying the things that, if Gazelle had a normal situation, would have such a big impact. And probably drive her to live on. But obviously, Morgana says no. She can't ever have a normal life after this. Yeah. How do you know her family are still alive? I've always had that question. Yeah. It. Really? Oh, yeah, that's fair as well. So it's not just Gazelle. Yeah, that's interesting. Fair. Fair enough. Isn't that horrible? How brutally put. Oh my god, what? No, are you telling me this is Didier? You are going to walk into a door full of ultra despair. I knew it. Yeah, what happened to being his brother? Maybe? Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, now you are the dangerous enemy. Dude, he is literally saying all of this with no concern in the world about just who he might be literally sentencing to death. I mean, sure, he has to, it's his job, but my god, are you even going to care about the fact that this guy is your brother? How much has he changed? There's none of what he thought there was originally, and it's just horrible because... Yeah, how dare Michel just think there might be some sort of indication of kindness in his life? Yeah, how could he do that? What an awful thing to do. I mean, fuck off, it's just insane. Even though you fighting against Michel could, ironically, endanger what's her name, Gazelle. How ironic. Who's this protecting? Yeah. I think well, I don't know, you can never tell. We don't know Didier. Yeah, we knew him 10 years ago, but now we don't. Yeah. Really? It would have. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? You can never tell. God. Well, what meaning does that have? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was only met with this. And he still does that to the end. Showing how courageous he can be. Yeah, he doesn't have the physical strength, but he has the mental strength. Yeah, fully fair. Interesting that he asks that. I just want to see the exact wording of the wish. The witch Morgana. Protect her. So Morgana's actions could have actually been taken out of context because they protected Gazelle from harm by literally removing her from the world and making her into, well, go into another reality. Oh my god, you are unbelievable. But the only thing is, I mean, he is a knight. He is a knight of the church. He has to do his job. What does he even think? Yeah, what did he possibly do to deserve it? Yeah. You are yourself. But nobody can ever accept that, and that's the cruel thing. Yeah, what happened to that? What happened to this? Says the guy that's literally going to sentence him to death. Emotionlessly. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yep, there's Amy's doing. Bet you anything. Bet you anything. I mean, what a gut punch. I mean, Jesus Christ. To think about the fact that this is the person that you grew up with, and this is the person who you spent your childhood with. I mean, that is nothing short of unbelievable. Yeah. There was never... Yeah. I can so see why he would think that. Yeah. Oh my god, so it's this CG again. And he is still not crying. He is doing anything he can. Must be, I don't even want to imagine how painful that is. It must be just, well, life-threateningly painful. And you will never die in happiness, and you will always die just with the belief that the world never has a place for you. It's just so sad to think about the fact that he could have lived a happy life. He really had the potential to do so. But It never really happened in the end. Didier's sword. Fucking hell. Yeah, fair enough. I can't believe Didier did that. Yeah, fair enough. God, I mean, just, you're going to die, so what must happen? You must not only die physically, but you must die mentally as well, and you just think all of the things that you have been hoping for and all of the things that you have thought could happen just totally crashing for somebody like that just to be told, just to tell you so earnestly and so impersonally as while he vows to kill his brother. It is his job, but Jesus Christ, just some indication that you were his brother. The thing is though, it was his job. He was always going to do this because he was ordered to. And that's the cruel thing. That is why a job like this must really be nothing short of horrible. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose it's really interesting that Michel believes the world never had a place for him and he just believes everything was awful. But still, he can never ever cry. Yeah. He can never submit to what he is feeling. Oh my god. Fuck. I don't even know if he's doing it consciously now. Hang on a sec. Are you telling me that he's hurting this much? Have they tried to make it so that he doesn't bleed to death or something? I'm just surprised he's not already dead, to be honest. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you fucking make him known. Make that thought known to him. Oh, you aspired to this man. You aspired to somebody who would just so cold-bloodedly kill a family member like this. Yeah, seriously, yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. So I suppose obviously the desire to become Didier, become somebody like him, obviously you realise it's impossible, and then it just kind of fades away. But that admiration and the respect that he kind of gave him, and obviously the trust he placed in him as well. I mean, it never went, and then just for everything to fall down like this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, poor... Wow, Michel, how could you do this? You thought people would be human? What the hell? This is planet Earth we're talking about. There's no human on this planet. That's what it feels like at the moment. You just expect somebody to be remotely decent and they're not. Isn't it interesting that he cried? And he doesn't even realise it, I don't think. He's just... But I mean, I'm sorry, but like, these are the last moments of your life. Sure, you would not want to submit to it, but at the same time, I mean, in order to not cry, you've got to bottle up your emotions. And you won't be able to think the things that hurt and the things that truly matter to you. So do cry, man. I'd do it. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, God. That's an interesting little Easter egg they put in. Yeah. What? How? Oh, that's weird. Oh, right. Well, it looks very, very unusual, very hellish, which I would only expect for something like this. This mutilated, but oh, God. Well, I'm sure we're going to have a very light-hearted and... Also, I'm just curious, is that the end of Chapter 7? Chapter 8 even? Salvage? No, it isn't. God, I love this CG, it's so good. Well, that was really, really good today, and that twist at the end, that was nice. I kind of saw it coming at the end, but yeah. That was really cool, and it was interesting just seeing Michel's total flaw, and also seeing more about Morgana and just what she was trying to do, and obviously it's going to be really quite disturbing tomorrow to see just the truth of what happened to Michel as he died. And yeah, I'm excited for it, honestly. I think it will be really quite nice. But yeah, it's just, it was quite surprising seeing Michel's story and seeing the truth. And I think this has made chapter 6 so much better, because obviously all of the contrast between Gazelle and Michel, and how Gazelle always had the courage just to show Michel the scars, and yet Michel never had the courage to do the same. And God, just that thought at the end, just the fact that the world was never made for him, that's just so brutal. And it really is. I mean, maybe Michel could have made a living. It would have been really quite difficult, but maybe he could have. But unfortunately, it was probably always going to end like this, and it's just so cruel that that was the case. Oh, well, it was really quite nice what we read today. It was well written, and yeah, I loved that theme that we saw just at the end as well. I think it was the theme that began the very low-pitched string theme. I think it began when Gazelle was rushing up the tower with Michel, and obviously all of the knights were there. And yeah, little did you know that the mother would have little did you know that the mother would have sent all of these knights for you to be executed, basically. And it's very, very difficult to predict what will happen next, actually. I do wonder, I hope we're going to see Morgana's true intents and what she was thinking when talking Michel down and wanting him to curse somebody. And isn't it interesting that Morgana said, "Why don't you curse these people?" Probably, well, no, she did know that Didier was there. So she says, curse these people, even though she knows that Didier would have been there. And she would have definitely made Michel know had he done that. I bet you anything. So it's interesting that there are so many traps laid out for Michel for him to face decline. And throughout those 10 years, he didn't. Which is honestly really surprising. I mean, especially in the times where he was finding it very difficult, and the times where Morgana was just really convincing him that they weren't too dissimilar of people. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.